Hello everyone and welcome to week 3 of English 120. This week we are going to be reading the second chapter of The Bedford Researcher. You'll also watch the second half of the documentary that we began last week on the Dust Bowl. The assignments that are associated with this week are you are going to participate in another Dust Bowl discussion. This will be very similar to what you did last week, and it's worth 20 points. You'll need to post your response by Monday at 11:59 p.m. and then respond to at least 3 of your peers' posts at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. And I just want to say you have been doing such a great job with this during week 2. So I really look forward to you continuing the conversation. You're also going to be doing a number of research journals that are associated with what we're learning in Chapter 2 of the Bedford Researcher. There are 4 journals in total, 4 activities in total, and that will equal 40 points. This is due on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And then we have you need to complete the research unit that is located in this module, and there's a quiz at the end. Just a reminder that your quizzes total up to be worth 20% of your grade. So please make sure you take your time when you take these tests. All right, so in English 95, we are going to be meeting live again on Monday at 6 p.m. If you can join us, that would be awesome. It would be great to see you. We had a really good time last time. It was short but sweet. This week will be more like an hour. So plan on being there from 6 to 7 p.m. We are going to meet together to read, annotate, and discuss an article called The Forgotten Dust Bowl Novel That Rivaled the Grapes of Wrath from Smithsonian Magazine. Please don't do this assignment before you watch the actual, either you come to the class or you actually watch the recording, okay? Because I'm going to give you some tips on active reading, and we're going to do some activities together. We will also have a visit from the Writing Success Center, for real this time, at 6 p.m. on Monday. And again, if you can't make these meetings, it's okay. I know that we have busy schedules, but if you can, it would be so great to see you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Dust Bowl forum that we're going to be the discussion forum. So just a reminder, this entire documentary is about the worst man-made ecological disaster in American history. And it looks at the causes and impacts and lessons that we can learn as a nation by looking at the personal stories of survival and human endurance that are interwoven into this disaster. So please watch that second half of the documentary. It's called Reaping the Whirlwind. And it's about 2 hours. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes. So plan for that kind of time in order to watch the film. And I would highly suggest taking notes while you're watching the film. It's a good way to remember the information. And remember, this is information that if your topic relates to this, you can use this film as one of your sources. So your directions are to watch the film, and then you're going to write a post of at least 250 words where you answer at least one group of questions, okay? Remember, before you choose your questions, look through to see who's answered what. And if people have already answered a question, remember that you need to be in conversation with them about their own answers, right? You're doing a great job with this week, but I want to make sure you understand. Also, please embed at least one photograph or graphic that relates to the topic that you're talking about, and label it so we know what it is, okay? Remember, if you have trouble with embedding images, I did post in the About You forum some links to details on how to embed images. Okay, so here's your questions. You're going to choose one set. There's 12 sets, so obviously there'll be some overlap between you guys. But I do want to bring your attention to question number 3, which says, look up several of the many experts who are interviewed in this film and provide a biography. Why is he or she an expert? This question is something that many of you can answer differently. There are lots of experts that are interviewed throughout the film. Just a heads up though, the experts are not the people who are the victims or the witnesses, the people who lived through it. The experts are the people who study the Dust Bowl, right? Who are being interviewed for their expertise in the area, just to be clear. All right, so choose one set of questions and please make sure that all these questions get answered. You're going to be graded the same way that I've been grading you week 1 and week 2. So if you aren't familiar with this, please go over the rubric for how I grade you in the discussion forum. All right, so this week we are going to be reading chapter 2 in the Bedford Researcher. We're especially going to be looking at how to plan to explore the topic that you are going to choose eventually to write your research paper. So this week we're kind of thinking about how one begins preparing to write an 8 to 10 page research paper. And yes, that's the size of the paper that we are going to be writing by the end of the semester. But we're going to be doing this in very small chunks. In fact, we're going to begin it this week. So this week, as you're choosing which topic to work with, make sure you're thinking about, is this a topic where there's some issue within it that I might be able to spend the next 16 weeks thinking about? Okay? So when you create a plan to explore your topic, you want to begin by thinking about who can help you think about this topic. You can talk to me, right? You can talk to your librarians. You can conduct formal interviews with people, or via email, or in person, or maybe not in person, but via video conference, or via emails or letters. You want to think about what questions would you want to ask these people, right? So people are a great source of information. The other place that you really want to think about beginning your research, especially that first phase of research, is encyclopedias. So you want to search in the encyclopedias, and we have several that are available through the Napa Valley College database page, and there's a link to it right here. And we're going to go over that in a second. But encyclopedias are a great place to start. And the reason why is because encyclopedias are authored. They're authored by some expert in the field. So automatically you get an expert, okay? And then also at the end of an encyclopedia article, typically there is a list of sources. That's like a treasure that you find at the end that can send you off into other directions to find more sources. So it's a really good starting place. Once you've started there, then you want to start looking for books in the library. This is a link to our database to search all of the books that we have available. We also even have a lot of ebooks available that might be a really good option for what you're doing right now. You want to look in articles that are in scholarly journals. Now, scholarly journals are different than, say, People magazine, right? Because scholarly journals are peer reviewed. That means that if I write an article on Sonora Bab, say, okay, there's going to be other experts in the field that are going to read it first and make sure that what I'm saying is relevant and adds to the conversation about her. And so also and make sure that I'm an expert, that I know what I'm talking about, that I have a PhD in literature, that I know, the background on who I'm talking about. You can also have look at articles in trade or professional journals, but know that these aren't peer reviewed, so they might not be as valid of sources. So you really want to make sure that look up who is writing the article. If there is a bias, like are they somebody that's promoting a certain idea, right? Same thing goes for when you look at articles in magazines or newspapers, right? These aren't always a valid source, and they can be really biased. Lots of news sources are biased, as I'm sure you're aware. And then finally, websites. You all love to use websites as sources. And we will not always be using websites as sources. There's a really good reason. And the reason why is because there's really no review process for many websites. Some websites are very valid. Now, this week in your research module that you're going to be doing at the end of this week's content, you will see a link to a place in the library where you can review how to analyze a website to make sure that it's a valid source, okay? So this is what the database page looks like. You'll see that this is the main page. When you log on, this is what you're going to see. And then if you scroll down that page, you'll come to this page. And this is what I like to use. This is where most of the, this is where you can find every single one a lot easier. But this is where you can find an explanation about each database. We are going to be using the databases in the general section this week. So right up here, okay? We're going to be using the 2 encyclopedias, and we're going to be using Academic Search Premier. So to begin your work this week, you are going to be choosing a research topic. All right. So last week, right, you thought about one of these topics and you pretended like you were going to write a 4-page paper, right? And you did some pre-writing techniques. Maybe you discovered through that process, I don't really like that topic so much, right? That's fine. Or maybe you're like, this topic is so cool. I can't wait to spend 16 weeks on it. Okay. So what I want you to do is think about that relationship you have with your topic. Which one do you want to do? Okay. And if you didn't like your topic, choose a different one. Know that each of these, so natural disasters, there are so many different types of natural disasters that you can look at, or the economic effects of natural disasters, or natural disasters in a specific place like California or the Gulf Coast, right? There's a lot of areas to look at in regards to each of these topics. So once you find a topic, the idea is you're going to explore it to see what angle of it is really interesting to you. Okay, so that's what you want to find in this exercise. So the first research journal is it's worth 10 points, and you're going to choose one of those topics. And then you're going to conduct a search in the following databases in the library: in the World Book Encyclopedia, and then the Funk and Wagnall's New World Encyclopedia. It is really important, you guys, that you actually use these encyclopedias, not some random one you Googled, okay? So please learn how to use these specific databases, okay? We're learning how to use the library. That's part of what I want you to learn in this class, okay? I know you know how to Google, all right? You want to, through this, through reading these articles on your topic, you want to identify sources that address your topic and read these sources. So read the articles in the encyclopedias and identify sources, and then figure out what kind of conversation that they're having about your topic. Are there any experts identified? I already told you that if it's an encyclopedia entry, it's written by an expert. So you got one, okay, or two when you look it up. And if so, who are the experts and what is their expertise? You need to find out, why are they experts? Do they have degrees? Are they professors? Have they worked in this field for 20 years, right? Find out what makes them an expert. And then you are going to write up a summary of your topic based on the basic information you've gotten from your encyclopedias. And that summary should be at least 250 words. So a pretty comprehensive summary. So you really kind of have a solid idea of what the topic is and who are the experts that are talking about it that you've identified so far. Okay? Your second research journal is a little different. So when you read those articles, you found there were a lot of different words that were used to refer to what you were talking about. Okay? And I want you to make a list of 10 keywords you could search for regarding your topic. So for example, if you were looking up natural disasters, obviously natural disasters would be one of them, okay? But the word disaster is a word that you could probably look up and find synonyms for. So if you click on this link and follow it to, it's just thesaurus.com, right? And you put in the word disaster, you'll see there are so many different words that refer to disaster, like calamity, catastrophe, collapse, crash, debacle, defeat, emergency, right? I'd like you to figure out a word or two that you could use instead of disaster as a way to expand your searching. You also want to think about, guys, what are other words or phrases you could add to natural disasters that would help you conduct searches? So, for example, you could look at a specific place, right? Like I said, you could say natural disasters in California, search under that, or the economic impact of natural disasters, right? That's another thing. It's something related to natural disasters, right? I want you to think of different words that you could use to amplify, to extend your search, okay? And I'd like you to think of, to create 20 different keywords or key phrases that you can turn in, and that's worth 10 points. Okay, so by the end of this, you're going to do this work to try to figure out keywords. Remember, you're gonna have at least 20, and it's not just words; it's keywords or phrases. Okay. Next, you're going to search under all of those keywords that you just came up with in the database Academic Search Complete. Okay. And you can play around with them, right? And what I want you to do is keep track for each search that you do. Which terms are the most productive? How many results did you get basically for each term? And which one turned up good results, right? Not just random articles that you don't think you can use, right? I want you to record your results and keep track of it. You're going to be turning that in as a 10-point thing. And I also want you to save any articles that you find that you think are relevant to what you might be interested in working on. So remember last week when I was talking about keeping a research journal? Now you're going to do that, okay? So remember how I showed you my box, right? That's where I keep all my Sonora Bab research, or my notebook. This is where I keep all my notations and my write-ups about articles. I realize that I am old school. I get it. I'm old, okay? But you can do the same thing physically like this, or you can do this with your computer, right? You can create files, create spreadsheets, whatever you'd like. Always record the name of the article, where you found it, the author of the article, and you might want to make a file folder because you can download these articles right into a folder on your computer. And we're going to be going over that some more next week, but I want to make sure you know you got to keep this stuff. Don't lose it. If you find it, save it, okay? All right. The final research journal is you're going to read through several of those articles that you found on your topic that you think are relevant. I want you to tell me what central concepts do you see repeated in your sources about this topic? Did the sources agree or disagree? Who are the main voices? Are they experts, and how do you know? Okay. What are the three most important issues? Those are arguable issues, things with two sides to them, right? That are within your topic that your sources talk about. Okay. And then I want you to think about which of these issues might interest you and why, okay? And then if you're still interested in the topic after doing all this work, tell me what interests you about this topic. But if you don't like it anymore, tell me what new topic are you going to choose, going back to that first list. Now, if you are someone that looks at that list and says, there is nothing there that I'm interested in studying, okay? What do you think you should do? Yeah, I know you can't ask me. What you should do is talk to me, okay? All of those topics, like I said, have all of these different things that you can look at in regards to them, okay? So if you're stuck, you look at that list and you're like, I can't find anything here. talk to me in office hours or send me an email, okay? So your research module this week is researching, explore, focus, and develop. So we're going to go back into the Bedford Researcher and read a little piece of the Bedford Researcher that you've already read for this week in chapter 2. And then we're going to look at ahead in chapter 3. There's a section on developing your research question, and that's where we're going to be going next. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind as you're reading through this. You're going to watch a short video where you're going to think about choosing your topic, and then there's a great section on preliminary research, which is using the internet and the NVC library as a way to get your mind around your topic, which is what we are doing this week in our research journals, okay? Finally, remember to take that quiz by the end of the week on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. You have 2 chances. So at the end, I just want to remind you, don't forget about English 95. We are going to be meeting on Monday at 6 p.m. I will send out one Zoom link for everybody. Don't use Confer Zoom anymore. It's too buggy. I'm going to send you a link via email. I will also post it in English 95. This week we will be reading, annotating, and discussing the Forgotten Dust Bowl novel that rivaled The Grapes of Wrath. This is an article in Smithsonian Magazine, and I've posted a link to it in English 95 already, but please don't annotate it yet. We're going to be talking about it in class, but I would like you to read it before you get to class on Monday night. And then we are going to have a visit from the Writing Success Center at 6 p.m. I promise. All right, guys, that's it for this week. You guys are doing such a great job. I'm really proud of you. I know this is weird learning this way for many of you, but I'm really impressed with the work that you're doing so far. As always, let me know if you have questions, and I will be happy to help you. Otherwise, I will see you online.